The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
Welcome into the Sportsocracy. I'm Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene alongside. It is a very rainy morning here at the Wicked Weed studio, thewickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. And so today we got a lot to talk about in the world of the NCAA because they got their ass whooped yesterday at the U.S. Supreme Court. The decision came down in the Alston case. We'll get into that. NBA playoffs tonight. Were you lonely last night, Jeremy, without having anything to gamble on? Nothing?
No, I was not.
You didn't miss it at all?
Nope. Well, I mean, I got my ass handed to me in the second round of the playoffs, so I did not miss that bullshit.
So the fewer games, the better. Is that what you're saying?
I think we have two series now that are real easy to figure out. So hopefully I'll recoup some of my losses in the conference finals.
There you go. We got game 2 tonight of the Western Conference Finals between the Phoenix Suns and the Los Angeles Clippers. We'll have the Monkey Knife Fight play of the night coming up a little later on in the program. We'll get into some Ben Simmons talk as well. Doc Rivers says there's a plan. We got a plan. We're ready to do the do. Ben's ready to do it. And we'll see. They'll see if they can rehab his shooting, or they can just take the simple way out and trade him.
I've heard this for a full day, and I'm going to shut that shit down quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Oh, the trade talk?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, first, let's get into the NCAA stuff. The Supreme Court 9-0. All conservative, all liberal judges came together and said the NCAA model is bullshit. And frankly, I'm all here for it. It's the day that I've been waiting for.
You have been forever, and you're getting ready to see why I haven't been.
Right.
Now, I will tell you this. To get 9 Supreme Court justices to agree to what day it is kind of shocking. So the fact that this was 9-0 blew my mind.
And it blew a lot of people's minds. But if you actually think about it, it's not out. It shouldn't have been out of the realm of possibility that everyone came together on this. This is the one intersection of conservative beliefs and liberal beliefs, of the liberal beliefs of workers' rights and the conservative belief of free markets. It all comes together in the NCAA case.
But here's the thing. It's not. And you can keep calling it that all you want to. It's not.
It's not what?
The problem with this whole ideal has, and always will be, it's competition. So you're trying to keep the playing field as level as humanly possible. Well, you just threw that shit right out the window.
Yep.
Because now it's not. If you're a fan of a small university team, group of 5 team, you are now 100% irrelevant. Period. You are irrelevant now. Congratulations. You got what you wanted. And I've tried to tell you for 3 damn years that you're going to regret it, and you will. Mm-hmm. And nobody will prove me. Literally, unless it works, you will not prove me wrong. I think this is I'll call this phase 3 of the ultimate demise of the NCAA.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now the game has changed. With the Alston case, what they decided was that institutions, or there can't be a cap on what institutions can offer to student athletes as far as academic spending.
And see, here's where that becomes a problem, is anytime the NCAA gives an inch, somebody takes a mile. Mm-hmm. And I guarantee you they're going to.
Yep.
And we went through this yesterday. As soon as the ruling came out, okay, what is considered part of your academic education?
Well, right now all the focus is on laptops. So they can offer students laptops. They can offer paid
and that's fine.
Right. They can offer a $4,000 paid internship to the athletes. They can offer postgraduate scholarships to the athletes. That's what all the focus is on. Mm-hmm. But nobody's branching out to what could possibly be folded into all of this.
Because and this is look, I don't talk about politics. This is the problem with some of these harebrained fucking ideas, is that you're living in this sweet little unicorn world where everybody does their part and nobody runs the Nope. Not how this is going to work.
Nope.
Here's how this is actually going to work. Because I brought up a litany of examples yesterday, and nobody could debunk them. All right, so you can do anything to encourage the academic education of the student athlete. All right, they live 15 miles off campus. Can you buy them a car?
Yep.
100% you can.
Yep.
Their family, they're homesick because mental health is such a big deal in this country now. They need their family to live with them. Can you buy their family a house? Yep. Yeah. Sure can. I'm just telling you, you're going to keep going down these paths. And people will say, oh, you're going over the. Nope. I'm doing exactly what every booster, what every donor, what every athletic director is doing right now. How much money do we have, and how can we use it to our advantage? That's what you've done. See, because here's what I don't think the Supreme Court, and they were put between a rock and a hard place. Because, yes, it does violate antitrust law.
Yes, it does.
There's no way that you can say it doesn't. However, the problem is the NCAA cannot legislate this. They can't. Have you heard the current, I'm going to call it a model. It doesn't really strike me as a model.
Okay.
The minimalist name, image, and likeness plan?
No.
Yeah, basically several of the high-end commissioners, Greg Sankey, a few others, have come together and they have this idea that if your state has legislation saying that what you should do with name, image, and likeness, you should do that. And the rest of the states should just figure it the fuck out for themselves. I shit you not, that is their current plan. That is what brilliant. They are bringing before the NCAA. Is, well, if your state doesn't have a plan, you just figure it out.
Right.
You know what one of those states is? Texas.
North Carolina.
Yeah, well, North Carolina's one too, but
yeah.
Texas is one of those. You know who has a whole lot of money?
They have a law. Texas has a law.
Yeah, but it's not one of the, it's very open-ended. It's the most open-ended of all the ones that have legislated anything.
Okay.
And so basically it's going to be, you figure it out. And you know what we have found over, eons of the NCAA? When you tell teams and institutions to figure it out, you know what they do? Cheat.
Yep.
Invariably.
Yep.
It never stops. It's always happened. It's always going to happen.
You're always going to look for that competitive edge.
Yep.
And,
and now you just opened the door to the greatest one that's ever happened.
It doesn't surprise me that Greg Sankey is part of this group where, most of the states in his conference have figured this out, or at least have plans in place. Coming up on July 1st, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, Texas, and New Mexico. Those are the states that have NIL laws going into effect on July the 1st. So pretty much the SEC's covered. SEC country is all about getting on this path because they know they have the most to gain out of all of this, or the schools in those states have the most to gain out of all of this. Like I said, I've been waiting for this for a long, long time.
And I've never understood why.
Well, it's because it's wrong, frankly. To me,
explain what's wrong about it.
To me, it's wrong to not give the athletes a share of the money that they make for your university.
Why? And be very careful of what you say here, because I'm going to deep fry you if you say what I think you're about to. Or are you about to say because, well, the tech major that goes to the college, they can do whatever they want to and get paid? That where you were about to head with that?
I mean, that wasn't where I was going, but that's part of it.
Yeah, you want to know why that's bullshit? Do you know what happens when, and it's funny to me that the Big Bang Theory had to explain this better than anybody else could. Do you know what happens when you're on an academic scholarship to, say, an Ivy League school and you're a tech major? They own the intellectual property to anything you do. So cool. You want to go down that stretch? Fuck yeah. Now, Texas point guard, they own your intellectual property when you get to the NBA because you got there because of them. Cool. So your rookie deal that you signed, that's how that works. What's good for the goose, good for the gander. And that's how that works. So there are some loopholes in that, but it's not the ones that people use.
Right.
Oh, if you go to college on a scholarship doing blank, and if you use school resources, which by the way student athletes are, they own the intellectual property. Now you can get royalties, you can do all kinds of things, you can make some money.
Oh yeah.
It's not what you think it is. It never has been, and it never will be. I'll put it to you this way: why do you think this is a good idea?
Why do I think this is a good idea? Because I think for a long time the schools have made billions of dollars and the athletes got free room and board out of it.
Free room and board and a college education. See, because here's the thing: you take the high end. This is what people that have argued for this always do. You take the Tim Tebow, blah blah blah.
Yes.
Well, for every Tim Tebow, I can give you 500 Rhett Bomars who do not make for the institution what the institution puts into their education. Now, where I'm headed with this. Patrick Holt said, I predict a new super paid conference with big teams nationwide breaking away and playing their own league.
Yep.
Pat McAfee said that a year ago.
Yep.
And in the minute he said it, I went, that's dumb. Nope, it's not.
It's not dumb.
It's not dumb because how are you? So I'll use two random entities.
Okay.
The University of Texas last year made how much money in athletics?
Oh, Jesus. $700 million.
Jesus, God, you're awful at this. $223 million.
Yeah.
Give me any school that's near and dear to your heart. Preferably stay away from the North Carolina, the super high end. Give me a mid-tier school.
A mid-tier school?
Actually, you know what?
Mississippi State.
I don't currently see Mississippi State. They are not in the top 50. The one I thought you were going to say is NC State. It's 92.
Sure. Okay.
It's 92. And by the way, they're better at a lot of things than Texas is. Basically, what the Supreme Court just did is said football reigns all. Football, nothing else matters because football is going to pay the freight on everything else. 150% football is going to pay the freight on everything else.
Yeah.
Which it did anyway, but.
Whenever this conversation comes up, everybody wants to go down the path of, oh, what about the other sports? And I've always been sorry about your luck.
See, and to me, that's of all the takes you could have on this, I've never fully understood how you don't see how that's going to become a problem. Because the Alston lawyers, what did they hide behind here? What was their claim to fame? This is a violation of what?
Antitrust rules.
Yeah, guess what else is a violation of antitrust rules? One being better than the other. And trust me, it's going to happen. You mark my fucking words. The baseball players and the swimmers and the track and field, they're going to do this. And you know what that's going to lead to? And maybe it's just my good old-fashioned West Virginia Republican ass telling you this. That's what it's going to lead to. Oh, you mean I have to pay the swimmers and the track and field who make zero money, actually cost the institution money. I have to pay them the same. I have to do the same things for them that I do for the football players. Cool. I'm just not gonna. That's how this is going to go. Mark my words. And I've tried to tell everybody that, but it's not fair to the student athlete. It's maybe a tenth of a percent of college athletes that can actually profit from their name, image, and likeness in a fair way. I'm not telling you there's not a car dealership somewhere that's not going to go, we'll pay you $50,000 to sell cars, because, we already did that.
Yeah.
That was Rhett Bomar.
Right.
Yeah, we did that once, and I'm sure we'll do it again. So now what you basically did is you bit your nose to spite your face. That's what this is. Because the NCAA, and the only reason that we got this far is because the NCAA couldn't come up with they couldn't agree on shit.
Yep.
Well, now who has to legislate this? The NCAA. This is going
if
to
they
go
want to, right,
tremendously.
If they want to remain in control, quote unquote, of college athletics, it's up to you to try to find the level playing ground.
There's not a level playing ground. That's the whole point.
Oh, I know.
That's the whole reason they've done that. Let me dispel a myth. The student athlete thing, that's always been a myth. We've always known that. Do you know why it existed? There's a very simple reason that student athlete ever existed.
And why is that?
Because there's about 5 schools that compete at a completely different level than the rest. And they always have, and they always will. The Ohio State, Texas, I'll just go down the list. Texas A&M, Michigan, Georgia, Penn State, Alabama, Oklahoma, Florida, LSUs of the world. They compete at a completely different. Now, to be fair, you don't have a shot.
Right.
You don't have a shot. that smaller, that Boise State, you don't have a prayer. Because you can't compete with their money. And people will say, oh, they only gave them the latitude to do things that are educational related. I could probably take everything in your life and turn it into some way to make it educationally related. As a matter of fact, you know what? I want to do that. I'm going to challenge the people in the comments. Give me something that I can't tie back to education. This will be fun.
Some type of compensation.
Name me anything that I cannot tie back. I don't think you can. But we do have very smart listeners, so somebody might get me.
Right. Could we start offering PS5s? Could we give PS5s to every athlete?
100%, because it's good for the mental health of the athlete and allows them to unwind as they get their education. I'll keep going.
And they can put educational apps on the the PS5.
Yeah, they can play fun educational games on the PS5.
They can play Minecraft.
Yeah.
To sharpen their mathematics skills.
Yeah, that's all you have to do. Based on what Judge Kavanaugh put out yesterday.
Yep.
You only have to tie it back to their education. I can do that with every damn thing you do. Every meal you ever eat, which, by the way, was already paid for. Now, there were restrictions on it. I always said the restrictions were what made this so stupid. And the fact that the NCAA couldn't get off of that is how you got here.
Right, like coaches getting in troubles for buying their kids candy bars on trips and shit like that.
My favorite one of all time was you can put out a spread of bagels, but cream cheese is a NCAA violation.
Right, that's an extra benefit.
Yeah. I've seen that one with my own two eyes.
Really?
Yes, I have. I've seen that one with my own two eyes. I have watched the cream cheese spread get removed from the table because it was an NCAA violation.
Wow.
I actually witnessed that.
Wow.
At a school that is way closer to here than I would like it to be.
Right, yeah. Basically, yesterday's 9-0 decision, they decided that the NCAA is a walking, talking violation of the Sherman Antitrust Act. And the way Judge Kavanaugh put his opinion was brilliant. He used a couple of different examples of how this would be illegal in every other industry, and I think that's a big slap to the NCAA. The fact that they're calling college sports now an industry. Did you notice that? A lot of the references to industry and profits and markets and basically it didn't come right out and call them employees, but it said you couldn't do this with any other base of employees. They used the restaurant scenario of all the restaurants in the area couldn't come together and not pay their workers decent wages because the clientele feels that it's a purer product if it comes to us from low paid people.
And here's the thing:
you couldn't do this.
They're not workers.
They are workers.
They're not workers.
They're absolutely
They're
workers.
not workers. They're not workers. They are not.
The Supreme Court just disagreed with you.
Well, and that's fine. That's all well and good. The Supreme Court's disagreed with me on a lot of shit that's also dumb as fuck. So, you want to go down that path, I can do that for the next 3 hours if you would really like to. But, I mean, they're right. It does. The way that this model is set up, and the NCAA did it to itself. Are they workers? No. Because if they are, then so are intramurals. That's funded by the school. That's another thing that I comically laugh.
Money for the school.
Can. Depends on what it is. North Carolina rugby makes more than North Carolina's rugby intramural team makes more for the school than several of their paid charter.
Does it really?
Yes.
I did not know.
And I know that because a couple of my family members went to Carolina.
Right.
Yeah. There are intramurals that make plenty of money. Well, and you know what happens to that money? Usually? It goes to pay the charter to the school so that they can have the school's name on the front, and then they just divvy up the rest. Or it goes to keep the program running or whatever the case may be.
Right.
Depends on how good you are, usually. Michael Whiteside asked me about weed and alcohol. I could find a way.
Weed and alcohol?
Alcohol, you have to be 21, and weed, you have to be in very specific states.
Right.
But I'm going to keep coming back to that mental health thing.
Mental health, right. We have to provide them with alcohol so they can
Louisville bought
chill out at the
at
end
one
of the
point
day
for their players.
Well,
that's the one I thought somebody was going to say that I was going to go. I don't know that I can do that one.
Sex education. The biology class. That's their biology internship.
Yeah, they're in there. They're in there explaining what a Vans Defron is. Then I believe you.
I was not expecting that term to come up today.
I really want somebody who gets caught with a hooker to use that as an explanation to their spouse. We were having a sexual education seminar.
Wow.
She was telling me how things worked.
I went down a path I was not expecting. But not only did Justice Kavanaugh, in the opinion, and the others as well, Neil Gorsuch was one of the ones that's been quoted the most with the opinion. Not only did they lift the veil on all of this academic spending, but Judge Kavanaugh made it a point at the end just to hammer it home to the NCAA, basically saying that their entire model is a violation of antitrust law, opening the door for every lawsuit that is not. I mean, this is going to be a battle that probably destroys the NCAA because all of these guys and gals are going to be coming for their back pay.
Well, I mean, think about what they put out there. Think about every athlete that ever paid for a laptop. Mm-hmm. Well, now basically the Supreme Court just said you violated antitrust law, so they're going to have to pay you back for that.
Yep.
Anything that can be tied that way, they're going to have to pay for it. Mm-hmm. Now, and how far back that dates, I have absolutely no idea. That's why I'm not a judge, because the thought of that makes my head hurt. Mm-hmm. A lot of these schools can't afford that shit. I mean, the comical part of this to me has always been the schools make so much money off athletics. No, they don't.
They do.
No, they don't. No, they don't. There's a huge difference between revenue and income.
Oh, I get it. They make a lot. Here's the thing: they make a lot of money, but they put that money back into other programs. Mm-hmm. So it's, but that's what they're talking about. The revenue that comes in from football, they want that to be divvied with the football players. That's what the goal is. So you don't split.
The money from the football team is paying for the swimming team and the track team and all that other shit.
Exactly.
So that's the thing. You can't have this both ways. And that's what I've always tried to tell people like you. They're like, oh, it's so good. First of all, they're not going to make anything. If you think these players are just going to, now all of a sudden they're going to be fairly compensated. I have a bridge to sell you, mm-hmm. and I have the title. It's written in crayon on a fucking paper towel because that's just not the way this is going to go.
Right.
What you basically did by pushing this is you killed all the ancillary sports because they have no shot. Mm-hmm. Now, not only do I have to take a loss, I have to cover your scholarship, and I have to pay for all this other shit? No way. No way. Won't work. Will not work. Stephen Tao said in the comments, mm-hmm. they're already fairly compensated. I agree with you. Wholeheartedly, and I always have. I always have. It's just the way it is. I've always agreed with that, and I always will. Mm-hmm. Because this is going to go down, and I'm going to sit back and laugh. Kelvin Joyner asked, if the NCAA dies, what rises from its ashes? I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know. Because it could go a series of ways. One of them is what Pat Holt said earlier, is that you have the superpowers that basically come together to form their own mm-hmm. their own thing. That's just a damn financial Wild Wild West. That's what I think will happen. The NCAA will stay around, but they'll lose the Texases, the Oklahomas, Ohio States, the high-end programs. Mm-hmm. Because they will say, you know what, we're not going to carry these other schools. We're not. I mean, I promise you, Florida State, Miami, and Florida are looking at Central Florida going, we're not covering you.
Right.
That's not how this is going to go. They're looking at Florida Atlantic, Florida International, and we can bury you. Mm-hmm. Now we can bury you because we can go get anybody we want because we have all the money and you don't have any. And so now you think it's bad now with the blue chip running backs going to Alabama, Clemson. It's about to get worse. It's about to get markedly worse. Mm-hmm. And the NBA and the college basketball side of this will be a fucking joke. I mean, it will be an absolute joke because they can throw anything at you that they want because they only have to cover you for 6 months. All right, so they're covering your scholarship and laptops that you can give a rat's ass about.
Right.
They can give you anything they want. We'll give you a car to show up here, which they were already doing anyway. Now it's just now we'll just know about it. Now we get to see them driving on campus, as opposed to walking around our college campuses, which I promise you, anybody listening to my voice right now is going, yeah, the star running back drove the nicest car on campus.
Yep.
Who's shocked?
Yep.
It's your hands. Anybody surprised? Okay. It's going to end badly. And I've tried to tell you this for years. Now we're here. You're celebrating this as a banner day.
I am.
I think you will change your tune on that within 18 months. You will see within
Possibly
18 months that the average college athlete makes absolutely not jack shit. Because here's another thing. Another thing that nobody's talking about, and I can't believe that I'm the one that's having to point this out. Do you understand what just happened to the market?
To the market.
The free market? No,
Oh.
the free market.
I was like, what are you
the
talking
free market of college athletes. What just happened? You just threw thousands upon thousands upon thousands of new talent. What's that going to do? Drive the price down. Down. There's only so many companies that are willing to pay these things. The name, image, and likeness thing, I've always chuckled at that. How many athletes right now are actually profitable from a marketing standpoint? College athletes.
Oh, I'd say a good couple dozen.
I would say a good 5.
Okay.
Name me one player in college basketball that is profitable right now.
That is profitable.
I'll wait. I'll give you a hint. They're all in the NBA draft. Speaking of which, NBA draft lottery tonight, we will have a full breakdown.
You're talking about...
And my mock draft tomorrow.
So, like, of this past season, I mean, it would be like Cade Cunningham would be among that group.
No. Cade Cunningham wasn't that coming in. He was that after he became a thing. So he's profitable for, I don't know, from November to March. 5 months.
Yep.
And I'll be honest with you, he's not that profitable.
Really?
I'll bet you the average NBA fan, I could put the picture of every guy in the lottery. I could give you their names. You couldn't match the name to the face.
Yeah.
I'll bet you, I'd bet 1,000 cash on anybody that wants to do it. Just can't. I can, solely because I've been working on mock drafts and shit, so I know exactly who these guys are.
Because you're a nerd.
I am a nerd. Jonathan Kuminga, if he walked in the studio right now, half of you would go, who the hell's that guy?
Exactly.
Now, and he went the G League profitable route. I'm just telling you, it's not going to be that profitable. And what you opened up was Pandora's box to the NCAA institutions.
See, I disagree. I think there is lots of profit to be made.
Who?
In this for the athletes.
Who?
Anybody. The star quarterback for every fucking team will have some kind of marketability through social media.
No. Backtrack. Social media is not what I'm talking about. Social media is a thing that you do. Cassius Stanley was a dog shit basketball player.
Right.
He was social media marketable. Here's the thing. They couldn't stop you from doing that anyway.
He couldn't profit off of it.
The NCAA can tell you can't profit off of it. Do you know how easy it is to do that? It is fucking easy. That is one of the easiest. The social media profit, first of all, you don't make nearly as much as you think you do. Just throwing this out there. I do marketing for a lot of shows that appear on YouTube and Facebook like we do.
Right.
If you don't have Wicked Weeds and Ingles and things like that, you don't make squat. You just don't. You have to be seen by a bajillion people to make a few $100. That's the way it works. And guess what? You know what you just did? You flooded that market too. So what do you think is going to happen? Now you have way more people doing it. What's that going to do? Drive the price down. Now, in terms of your star quarterback, all right, let's go down that path.
Okay.
Where's the money coming from? Where's the money coming from? I've always thought this was laughably
from businesses and boosters.
Okay. Well, it can't be boosters. No. You didn't read it close enough.
It's going to be.
It can't be. the way this is currently constituted, because you have to report them all. So if we want to play your little game, but we got to play the players, you have to do it legally. Can't come from a booster. You cannot be paid. I read the whole fucking thing. You cannot be paid 1 red cent from any person that has ever contributed money to the university. I'm not saying you're not gonna. I'm talking about the legal deals.
Okay.
Let's do this by the letter of the law. The way that Brett Kavanaugh put it out of the free market system. All right. How's that going to work? How's that going to work? So you got a quarterback. Name me any quarterback. Keaton Slovis at USC.
Yep.
Who's going to pay him? You think McDonald's and Coke and people like that are lining up to pay Keaton Slovis? The answer is no. It's going to be Billy Bob's buttfuck Nissan dealership that's going to pay them $100,000 to do car commercials.
Okay.
And it's going to only be the star quarterback because that's the only person that has any cachet. All right, you're a Georgia fan. Name me 5 players on your roster for next year.
Can't do that off the top of my head.
There you go. And you host a sports talk show for a living. And you think that the 4th string running back for Georgia has any kind of cachet. No, they don't. I'm telling you straight up, as somebody that pays that pays these things out to do marketing deals like this, they have no cachet whatsoever.
Right.
None. Unless they're top.
But I mean, let's be honest.
Unless you're a Heisman Trophy level player.
Let's be honest, though. It's never been about them. It's always been about the top level guys. Those are the ones that can capitalize.
And again, that's not how this works. That's not how this works.
That's exactly how a free market works.
No, thank you.
I mean,
thank you, Bernie Sanders,
if
for
you have
explaining
the
to me how a free market
marketability, if you have the marketability, you're the ones going to make the money.
And they always made the money anyway. They always did. There's never been one in the history of time. You give me the worst NFL athlete in the history of time that was a high-end college athlete, they made money. Now, was it legal while they were in school? No. And was it as much on the backside if they weren't professional level athletes? No. They still got paid. See, the fight here has always been the 4th string tight end at Florida needs to be able to pay their bills, and it's changed nothing for them because they have no marketability whatsoever. None. And it's just comical to me. I mean, it is comical to me how stupid of an idea this is. How easy this would have been for the NCAA to get in front of to keep the Supreme Court out of it. And now the Supreme Court's put down their ruling.
That's not what they wanted. That's not what they wanted. They wanted the Supreme Court to back them. They wanted the Supreme Court.
And if they had a brain in their head, they knew that wasn't going to happen.
Everybody thought it was going to happen. That's what I'm saying.
Nobody with a brain thought that was going to. Not in the last year.
Oh, absolutely. Before the decision.
You're missing the with a brain part of this.
Okay.
I could have 100% told you that's how this was going to go well before the decision came out yesterday.
Okay.
The 9-0 part of it shocked me.
Of course.
I'm not going to lie that all of them agreeing on anything shocked me. Nobody thought this was getting knocked down. Nobody. We've all known it was coming. Jesus Christ has been on ESPN for months.
Maybe nobody
trying to get in front of this.
No, maybe nobody in the sports world, but in the legal world, the legal experts who were analyzing this case and trying to predict how the court was going to go, they thought the conservatives were going to go with the NCAA because of their, it's been termed as their love of the status quo.
Yeah, maybe it's me being a conservative. I could have, anybody that thought that was an idiot. Just straight up.
All right, I mean, and that's fine. I mean, you could feel that way, but what I'm saying is yesterday's decision shocked a lot of people.
I don't know who these people are. You're going to have to trot me out one of these people that are stunned by this. and I'm not going to lie. I'm going to look directly at them and go, "You're a moron."
Right.
Because this was super predictable.
I mean, I agree with you. The tide has been turning on this thing forever.
So Adam Black said he's wanting me to explain my point that the high-end players will be paid big time. It's not as big time as you think. The local quarterback will get paid by the mom and pop stores. No, they won't. I mean, and if they do, it's not going to be much. They don't have any marketability. That's the problem with the free market system that we have in the NCAA right now. College basketball players are so transient, nobody gives a shit. I mean, these guys are transferring 2 and 3 times. So what do you think, Mac McClung was really going to sell at Texas Tech? No. He's been there for 45 minutes. Nobody knows who he is. There's no attachment to him. Now, college football, there's a difference there. But, all right, just give me any high-end school.
Georgia.
Who?
Georgia.
All right, Georgia. Let's play this one. Georgia last year going into the season had Jamie Newman and JT Daniels. Mm-hmm. What is either one of them worth? In terms of from a marketability standpoint.
Oh, I mean, JT Daniels, I feel like, is very marketable.
He was the backup last year.
Right.
He was the backup. Some kid that came from USC that you're trying to market in Georgia. Mm-hmm. People had never seen his face. They were waiting to see him in a jersey. Jamie Newman was an absolute abject disaster and has been for the last year.
Yep.
There's no marketability there. None. They don't sell anything. See, that's what I don't think people are understanding, is that the money has to come from somewhere. There's no value to these athletes. I mean, I'll go ahead. All right, let me take you behind the curtain here, because this name, image, and likeness thing, it's been going on for a few months. Mm-hmm. Behind the curtain, and I'm a member of many of these sponsorship. Let an athlete come talk on your show, and they've been there forever. Mm-hmm. Do you know what they're worth? What their value is? And I could give you a shitload of examples of guys that were done with most of them were NFL draft eligible players. Still technically members of the school, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. So they can't do things until they're physically drafted. It was like $200 a piece. And they were crickets. And these are guys getting drafted. For people like us, they would kill to have, a late first. I'm trying to think of the guys whose names I've specifically seen, because I'm trying not to out them as being out there going, gimme.
Right.
It ain't hard to figure out. I mean, these things are free to join, so it ain't hard to figure out. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's crickets. I mean, and a couple of these guys were first-round draft picks. Nothing.
Yeah.
No active deals, no pending deals, no nothing. And this is the highest of the high end. And you're trying to tell me that some half-ass quarterback I'm trying to think of a small school, Coastal Carolina that was probably different.
Coastal Carolina's probably way different.
He's probably got a mullet. And,
no shit. If he's got a mullet, he's going to be doing all of the Eagles commercials. Eagles, Pacifics, Waves. He'll be doing all the beach stores. He'll be doing spots for the Suck and Blow biker bar.
So funny. So Kelvin Joyner put out a really good point here. Any of these athletes with an actual personality and online presence will do whatever your other 2-bit YouTuber or TikTok, whatever, us, basically. So what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. Get numbers, get sponsorships. Let me tell you a fun story. Do you know what percentage of shows that are social media based have active sponsorships? I know
the answer. You should just tell them. We've done the analytics on this.
It's 3%. 3% have active sponsorships. In terms of YouTube and TikTok and all that shit, cool. You want to make the money on that? There's not a lot. Unless you're high end, there's not a lot of money there. Mm-hmm. Jake Paul gets hundreds of millions of views. He still makes like $8 million a year. Mm-hmm. And now I'm not saying that's not huge money.
That is huge money.
He's also the number one in the industry. Mm-hmm. It's not like everybody out here with a half-assed 250,000 following is just rolling in cash. They're making $100 a month, and I can show it to you. It's not that hard to figure out. Mm-hmm. There's an overrated sense of what those things will do. If that's what everybody wants, more power to you. I just think you've now created a problem.
But that is what they want. That they want the freedom to be able to do that, and that's what these cases are going to give them. The Alston case is just the start of this. There's another case that's House versus the NCAA, and that one has to deal with the social media, being able to market yourself and get sponsorships and money off of your viewers and all of that on social media. That one's going to come through. Unless Congress, there's only one way that the tide can be stemmed on this for the NCAA, and that's to get Congress involved. And Congress is going to have to step in and give them an antitrust exemption. And I don't think it's going to happen. There is no one that I can see out there championing antitrust exemption for the NCAA. It's the one thing that they need to save them in all of this, and I don't think it's going to happen, which I think is going to lead to the dissolution of the NCAA.
And that's the other thing.
As we know it.
All right, so let's say the NCAA goes away. Then all this was for naught anyway. So you just abandoned the student-athlete thing. Cool. Now what? Now what are you going to do?
Well, now it becomes the Wild Wild West. Now it becomes,
It's
as
already
you
the
said,
Wild West. It's the Wild Wild West
everybody
right now.
making their own organizations. How did the NCAA? How did the NCAA come together? It was all the member institutions said we need to have an umbrella group, and we're going to give them the power, and they're going to be able to do the enforcement and set all the rules and do all the monitoring and the investigations and all that stuff. And now it's come to the NCAA can't legislate all this stuff like it used to. Now the legal world says this is a violation of U.S. law. So unless you get Congress to pass a law that gives you the exemption to the antitrust laws, the NCAA, they have to come up with a new NCAA. So as we said, and who was it? Was Patrick Holt that said they're going to have all the top ones are going to get together and they're going to make their own organization, and now we're going to have split organizations. That's what I foresee coming, is that all the mid-level schools will get together and they'll have a mid-level, basically a feeder program for the NFL. Because, we're basically talking about college football making all of the money. I think that's the way this is going to have to go as well. Is there going to be separate football and basketball and on down the line organizations?
Here's the thing that we haven't talked about yet.
Yep.
Brett Kavanaugh basically said the rest of your rules
All
are.
of it.
You know what that means, right?
The
Do
pay
you?
is next.
No, that's not at all what I'm talking about.
Oh, what are you talking about?
You have now broached the question of antitrust. Do you know what that's going to signal? If you violate antitrust and you basically make it to where, I'm trying not to get overly legal here, there has to be somewhere for everybody to go. You cannot constrict people's movement in this country and their ability to profit off what they do. What do we currently do that is a direct violation of that? We don't let high schoolers go directly to the pros. And I'm telling you right now, based on what I just saw from the Supreme Court, it takes one guy. One guy sues, and it'll have to go through the legal process. You don't go directly to the Supreme Court. You have to go through a bunch of appeals and a bunch of bullshit. Somebody's going to do it. You mark my words. There's a high school kid coming that's
like the
going to
Maurice
say,
Clarett rule?
oh yeah, if the Maurice Clarett thing happened today, it would lose. Based off what I just saw and what I just read, it would lose.
Maybe.
There's no maybe to it.
I'm going to say maybe.
Go read Kavanaugh and Gorsuch.
Neil Gorsuch.
Yeah, read what they put out.
Yeah.
Read the whole damn thing, because not the whole thing, because it was
you read all
445
pages.
No, I read the pertinent parts.
Right, the summary, basically.
It would lose. It would lose. It wouldn't be close. I can't tell you it'd be 9-0. It'd be 7-2 at worst.
Yeah. I've always thought football can get away with that because of the safety issue. They've always had that leg to stand on of we can't allow 17, 18, 19-year-olds to come into the league because they're not physically capable of sustaining a career in the NFL. I think that's the one thing that could stand in their way. Now,
nope. It doesn't. You're missing how antitrust works. The ends can justify the means. Whether you can survive doing it, as long as it's not actually a risk to your life, they're not going to stop you. Straight up. They've made that very clear. They're not going to stop you. And Adam Black said, would the NFL draft these guys? Hell no. You know who would?
The
XFL, the CFL, the USFL. They would. They'd do it in a heartbeat. And I'm going to be honest with you, you've now opened the door to that. Because now you've made it to where these guys can profit off you're just headed down a path here. And maybe maybe I've watched too many things go down the legal shithole that is the legal system in this country.
Right.
Just remember I said it. Just remember on this day I told you, all of the things you're worried about right now are not a drop in the bucket to where this is going to go. You wanted them to be paid. Cool. You got what you wanted.
Oh, yeah.
Just remember I said it.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's going to get disgusting in a hurry.
And I think as fans, we just roll with it and see where it goes, because now that the floodgates are open, it increases competition. It increases competition for these guys.
No, it doesn't.
Oh yeah, it does. If the XFL and the CFL and the USFL, whatever, if they now have an ability to get these guys without them going to college, then that pits college against the minor leagues.
Yeah, and that's working out great in the NBA right now. That G League thing, goddamn, I mean, fuck, they get like 5 million viewers a night.
Look, I'm not saying it's going to be it's not the perfect solution.
No, it's a stupid idea. We've watched it. We watch it every year. And we're doing it right now. There are 6 guys that would have been high-level college basketball recruits that are going to G League. And nobody watches it. You're biting your nose to spite your face. And the NBA is paying for...
The NBA's what? Finish your thought.
The NBA is paying for the fact that they have not been forward-thinking in this right now. Because you've had one ready-made star made in 5 years. Devin Booker is currently getting there, based solely off of play. You don't have any marketable stars. Now, the NFL will not have that problem because you're still going to have quarterbacks. You're still going to, at some net of it, you'll still have college football. Now, you're not going to have the 127-member institution D1 college football model.
Which is fine.
Kelvin Joyner just said in the comments, I'm a high school football coach, and the idea scares the hell out of me. I'll be honest with you, I've coached high school kids too. It scares the hell out of me. And I didn't coach football, I coached basketball. And it scares the hell out of me. The whole thing scares the hell out of me because I feel like people have been so short-sighted. And this is what we do. Nobody ever gets told no. No, that's a bad idea. Why? Because it is. Because people suck. Because people at the end of the day suck a lot. And they're out for themselves. And if you think they're not going to manipulate this system for their own betterment, I have a bridge to sell you. Yeah. And now you've opened those floodgates. You've opened all of those shitbird people. You've opened the floodgates for them to come in. And if you think it's going to be beneficial for the kid, you're wrong. It's going to be beneficial for the one with the money. It always has been, always will be.
And I can't wait to see where it goes. It's a bad thing. It's a bad thing for the NCAA. I don't know that it's such a bad thing for the future of sport.
I vehemently disagree with you.
Because there has to be a point in time where we control and hold back your marketability before you can capitalize on that. Because see, that's where my mind goes with all of this, is if you're saying that, up to a certain age, we can control how much you make and how much access you have to the money. As long as we have that period, then we're good with it. And then once we decide, okay, now you're 21, now you're 19, whatever the age is, now you can go and do it. It's never really made sense to me. If you can make the money, go out and get the money. And that's what the NCAA is now facing, is that their athletes are being basically freed from this 60-year scam of amateurism.
Scam.
It absolutely is.
I would love to live in this fictitious world that you people live in. I really would. This scam. How many guys do you actually, honest to God, think have been scammed? I mean, how many of the... Do you realize what the hit rate is on these guys? 60% of them are worthless to the university. Worthless. Don't make one single cent. Another 15% never play a down, a second, an anything. In all honesty, you're 100% right. This is a scam. The other way. Because there's no other employer in the world that is stuck with you for 4 years, no matter how big of a turd you turn out to be. Name me anything that is that way. Straight out of high school, name me any other thing you can do where you could be the laziest turd in the world and they're stuck with you for 4 years. Name me one. There's, by the way, not one. Because all of those academic scholarships that people like to talk about, oh, look, they can make the money. Yeah, they're renewed every semester. Athletic scholarships don't work that way. That's another big-ass difference in this. Once you have one, you pretty much have it unless you do something really stupid. Now, they can kick you out of school, and that does happen from time to time. Much rarer than you think it is. Patrick Holt said president. Yep, that's you have to be 35 to be the president. I'm talking about at 18 years old. Military's not a. That's not a. That's not
military.
A bad, that's not a bad. I didn't think of that one. That's pretty good.
There you go. I don't know. Kevin Vick says politics should stay the hell out of sports. This is why we have men able to join women's teams because they feel like a woman. Oh my gosh. That was not going down the path I thought it was going to go down.
No, I couldn't quite figure out why you were reading it out loud. But.
Well, because I thought the politics staying out of sports, I mean, it can't. Politics is a part of everything we do.
It doesn't have to be.
Oh, it does.
Why?
Because it governs how we live.
The politics the sports have absolutely nothing to do with how we live.
It does on how the athletes live. And that's the whole goal.
It has nothing to do with the politics of sports has nothing to do with how these athletes live.
Oh, okay.
The Supreme
Court. This is exactly what we're fighting over.
You do realize that the Supreme Court was not needed for this, right? You do get that.
Oh, yeah.
If the NCAA did its job, the Supreme Court would have never been involved in this. No, you need legislative bodies. You need, and I hate to keep going back to this, the NFL. That's what you need. You need a legislative body that, you know what? Oh, that's what you want? Cool. Tough shit. It's the only sport that does that, and it's the only sport that's still as wildly popular and as wildly revenue generating as it was. Oh, a player gets hurt away from the training facility. Oh, I want my money. Tough shit. Bye. Go sign with Baltimore because you're not going to get it. It's the only sport that still has the backbone to go, that's not how this works. Is it not weird to you that that's the only one that still generates revenue at the level that they used to? With inflation and everything else, more people than we've ever had, less eyeballs on every sport except for the one that says, nope, that's not how this works.
Right.
That's not ironic. I don't believe in coincidence. That's not a coincidence. And in terms of politics being involved in everything, one sport went, not for us, it's not. And weird. That's the popular one too.
What sport said politics is not for
the
us?
NFL. They went down all of those, the same paths the NBA did. And it took them 4 hours to go, nope.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Fuck this up.
I get what you're saying.
We shan't be doing this anymore.
Right. No, I mean, politics.
PSAs in the middle of games. If you're wondering what I'm talking about PSAs in the middle of games, political speeches by players. You notice the NFL stopped doing that?
Oh,
there's a reason.
I fully get what you're saying. Now, embracing the political debates and things, I understand that as far as part of your PR. You don't do that. But this is
because in large part nobody cares.
This is completely different. No. This is what is against the law and what is not against the law. And had
the NCAA done its job, they would have never gotten involved. They would have not heard this case if they had any faith that the NCAA could actually do what they're supposed to. But they didn't.
No, because what they're supposed to do is not restrict the ability of their stars to be able to make money. That's what this fight was all about. That the NCAA can't tell them they can't make money. I mean, that is exactly what the opinion came out from Judge Brett Kavanaugh, who said you have to, basically you have to be, that all of your restrictions are a violation of law.
And there could have been restrictions. The NCAA punted this to the Supreme Court, and they said, nope, we're going to do it this way.
Yep.
Because they didn't want to hear it again.
Yep. So
they don't want to hear any of the rest of this shit. What they don't understand is you just opened the fucking floodgates, and you are going to hear a lot of these.
Because they got pounded. A 9-0 decision at the Supreme Court was not what they were expecting, and now they are going to probably lose every case that comes against them from now on, based on the antitrust discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, unless Congress
the ruling
changes
that just came out from Brett Kavanaugh and Neil
Gorsuch.
I can't say his fucking name. It basically killed the NCAA. Because it will be used as case law forever. And people will say, this is a violation of antitrust, so I want my back pay. Yeah, that's the way it's going to go.
Yep.
The way it's going to go.
That is the way it's going to go.
And I heard Michael Whiteside, I can't remember exactly how he said this, but he said, your joy is sorely misplaced. I agree wholeheartedly.
That my joy is sorely
100%.
misplaced?
Because you think this is like a win, and it's not. It's not a win for jack shit. It just made every bit of this harder. And how many athletic scholarships are now going to be gone because they can't afford to do all of these things? Mm-hmm. You'll see. Just give it time.
I'm sure we will. Like I said,
especially when you've got all of these athletic departments that are looking at ledgers from last year that look like battlefields.
Oh, yeah.
You mean nobody could come to the games? Cool. Mm-hmm. I didn't need another reason to cut a bunch of programs, but I found one. I fucking found one.
Yes, you did. And again, when it comes to that, it sucks, but sorry about your luck. You need to make some money, I guess, to pay for your sport. Doc Rivers says he has a plan. There is a plan. They're going to do the right work, and they're going to do it the right way. As long as they do the right work the right way, and they can do the plan the right way, the Doc Rivers is going to be able to help Ben Simmons change his shooting style. That they're going to make him a better shooter over this offseason. We don't know what the plan is other than, I don't know, put Ben Simmons in a room with a basket, draw the foul, get the foul line, and go, you just live here all summer long until you can figure out how to shoot free throws. The guy shot 34% from the free throw line in the playoffs, which is unacceptable for a top-level star in this league. My question to you is, can it be done? Can they retrain Ben Simmons and get him to hit a free throw?
The level of dumb shit I have heard about Ben Simmons in the last 2 days, really been in the last 2 days, is just mind-boggling to me. Like now, all of a sudden, Ben Simmons is like an unusable piece in the NBA.
Oh, yeah.
Do you realize how stupid that is? That is the dumbest take. And it's what we do in sports media. Mm-hmm. We can't just have a take. It has to be spicy, and it has to trend on Twitter. And shut the fuck up. I had somebody ask me yesterday, would Philadelphia trade? I'm trying to think of the dumbest one I heard, because I got a lot of these. And some of them actually made sense. Oh, God. It's going to come to me. The just dumbest shit. Oh, I can tell you one that was just ridiculous.
Okay.
Would the Philadelphia 76ers trade Ben Simmons for Draymond Greene and James Weissman? Stop talking. Talk less. Like, no matter what, just speak less.
Right.
No. At the end of the day, he had a bad series. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. It's not a fire sale. It's not, hey, what shit contract can we go find to supplant Ben Simmons with? Now, do I think there are issues with Embiid and Simmons? Yes, I do. Mm-hmm. Do I think there is a possibility that Ben Simmons is traded? Yes, I do. Do I think they are running out to put him on the blue light special aisle at Kmart? No, I don't.
No.
Do I think they're going to trade him for C.J. McCollum? No, I don't.
I don't hate that, though.
You should.
Why?
You 100% should.
Why? That would give Philadelphia
Stephen Dow said it was
shooter.
me. I said Ben Simmons for Blake Griffin. I wasn't going to say that. I ignored it. Just, no. No. Blake Griffin is still not good at basketball.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, it's like anything. we get hooked on a narrative, and then people drive it into the ground. Oh, look at Ben Simmons. He can't hit free throws. He's absolutely worthless. No, he's not. He's one of the best defenders in the game. He has a lot of skill to be able to drive to the basket. He needs to be with a team that he can do that with.
I mean, I can tell you the dynamics of basketball that keep him from doing that.
Right. But I don't know that it's Philadelphia. I think a change would be welcomed in both scenarios. We've tried this with Embiid and Simmons. It's only gotten us to the second round of the playoffs. We need someone bringing the ball down the floor that we can trust to shoot. We need a Dame Lillard type. We need a Luka Doncic, Trae Young. We need a guy who can knock down shots.
Here's the thing that kind of blows my mind about Ben Simmons.
Okay.
He's a 6'11" point guard. How many 6'11" guys are really good shooters? I mean, I'm not saying there aren't some.
Right.
These 6'11" guys are great shooters.
I mean, a handful.
5.
Like Vucevic.
Vucevic's not a great shooter. He's a half-ass shooter from distance. He's a good mid-range shooter.
Right.
I guess I see what you're saying there.
Right.
I meant how many of them are legitimate threats from the outside.
I get what you're saying.
I could count 5 probably in the last 20 years. And all of a sudden, a guy that was, and he's never been a great scorer. He's in the top 60, I think, in points per game this year. 30th in rebounding. As a point guard. 12th in assists. He's still a good player. He just needs slightly more around him than people want him to. They want him to be that killer. He's not.
Right.
And to be honest with you, that was the problem. If you go back to when he came out of LSU, that was the number one question about him. Can he shoot? Can he be the best player on a championship level team? I would say the answer now to both are no. But at the same time, that doesn't mean Philadelphia is going to give him up for a bag of balls and 7 Snickers bars, which is what people keep asking me about.
But everybody jumps on when they find a weakness, when they find this guy may be available, then we'll just shove him into every possible hole we can throughout the league. And it doesn't always work.
I have to give good comments credit when where they're due. Alexander just said, I wouldn't be surprised if the Pelicans don't trade Ingram for Simmons. Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball for Ben Simmons makes a whole shitload of sense. Like a whole shitload of sense. And I don't even like Lonzo Ball at all. But yeah, it makes sense. Because I would absolutely love Ben Simmons with Zion Williamson.
You get 2 guys that can score for Philadelphia in return for getting your problem gone. Because I see him as a problem now. This is a problem. The fact that Joel Embiid is obviously irritated at Ben Simmons and the way that he played in this playoffs, I don't know that I want that friction in my locker room anymore. I want to get Embiid.
The pieces don't fit. That's the biggest problem.
I want to get Embiid pieces that he can trust.
Yeah.
And if he can trust, Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball to knock down shots.
The problem with this team has been, and probably will continue to be, they have a bunch of specialists. They have guys that can do one thing, and they're liabilities at everything else. Matisse Thybulle, great defender, liability offensively. Seth Curry, great shooter, liability defensively. That's the problem. You got a bunch of mismatched toys. And you've yet to find the way, and I love how many people are blaming Doc Rivers for this. I will never understand the hate on Doc Rivers. I'm just never going to get it.
It's because he doesn't win in the playoffs.
He's won a title.
It won.
Okay.
And how many times has he been to the playoffs, and how many times has his teams?
Do you know how many coaches have won a title in the last 25 years?
I understand that.
I think it's 5.
I understand that. But I also feel like we all talk about Doc like he's the greatest coach of all time, or one of them, and it's just not the case.
He is. How many coaches in NBA history would you take over Doc Rivers? Honestly. I mean, obviously the Reds, the Phil Jacksons.
I'd say probably 10, maybe.
That's One of the greatest of all time.
I mean, I get it, but I don't know. People, when they talk about Doc Rivers, it's almost like he's infallible. And
nobody's infallible. Phil Jackson's infallible. That's it.
But somehow, some way, his teams end up finding a way to fuck it up in the end. I heard yesterday somebody going through the worst Game 7 losses in NBA playoff history. There's only been like 4 out of the last 60 times, or maybe it was 60 times since the merger or something like that, that a team had been in a home Game 7 situation. There are 4 times over the last 20 years that a team has lost at home by double digits. And they all 4 were Doc Rivers teams. It was the 05-09 Celtics. It was the 16-18 Clippers. And how do you explain that? How do you explain a guy who can take his teams, very talented teams, into the playoffs and not get a whole lot out of it?
How do I explain that? There are 5 coaches in NBA history that ever coached more playoff games than Doc Rivers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're going to have some letdowns. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be honest with you, he's had really flawed teams. That Clippers team is flawed. Mm-hmm. Aggressively flawed. By the way, you want to piss off a Suns fan? Just tell them no LeBron, no Jamal Murray, no Kawhi Leonard, and just stop talking. I did that a couple times yesterday. I had to get my pound of flesh for knocking out my nuggies.
Right.
To me, it's not even close. Doc Rivers, top 10 coach of all time. And people are treating him like he's some dumbass now. Like, okay. And this is going to be my tax from now on. The people that say this about Doc Rivers.
Yep.
Cool. What exactly would you have done? What's your solution there? I mean, Twitter's fun for this because everybody's a fucking genius on Twitter.
Yep.
Okay, what's your solution? You have a big man that's the best player on your team that really likes shooting from outside, and he's not particularly efficient at it. Mm-hmm. So when he needs a bucket, what does he do? He goes down low, which clogs the lane and keeps Ben Simmons, who cannot shoot, from getting to the basket. Now, does Simmons go through massive times where he's not aggressive? Yes. Mm-hmm. How would you have fixed it? What point guard are you putting out there? You feel great about Tyrese Maxey or Shake Milton or Seth Curry? No. He played the hand he was dealt. It's not like you had Chris Paul sitting in the wings while he's force-feeding Ben Simmons the line. Right. George Hill was a disaster. Mm-hmm. He was the worst player in the NBA for a month. He didn't have any other choice. Now, the Clippers, I'm of the belief that these super teams with 2 stars and just a bunch of dog shit. Colin Cowherd, who I feel like we have the same brain because we say the same shit a lot, came out yesterday and said something I've said repeatedly. You build these super teams, what do you need? A lot of luck. Mm-hmm. Because you deal with one injury and you are screwed. Lakers did it. Nets did it. Mm-hmm. You deal with just a modicum of injury problems, and you're done. Because you don't have the depth to overcome it.
Right. If they had a star point guard, though, what do you do with Ben Simmons? He doesn't play well when he doesn't have the ball in his hands.
Mm-hmm. Ben Simmons needs to be surrounded by shooters. Mm-hmm. Never had that. He's had one at a time.
I understand.
Seth Curry is a good shooter.
That's why I say Philadelphia's not the place for him. I think Philadelphia is at the point where they know which one they're riding with. Years ago, it was a debate. Which one, Embiid or Simmons? Which one would you take? I've always leaned Embiid. And I think now we know that Philadelphia's future is in Joel Embiid. So the best thing to do... I'm just telling you,
you're going to get 10 cents on the dollar for Ben Simmons. And that's a shitty idea.
It's brutal.
It's a shitty idea. You're going to get another flawed star. Mm-hmm. You're not getting some ready-made star for Ben Simmons. You're not. He's going to be the best alternative. So you're going to have to figure it out one way or the other. Now, if you trade him, more power to you. Enjoy C.J. McCollum.
It's not...
Who I like, by the way.
CJ
I'm crushing CJ McCollum. I feel like.
Who was it yesterday? You came up with a scenario, and it was CJ McCollum and what?
Robert Covington.
And Robert Covington. I'm in for Ben Simmons. I think those are two pieces that Philadelphia can use to try to get over this hump in the playoffs.
I'm not, because I'm getting a player that's 6 years older, and I don't even know how old Robert Covington is, but I think he's been in the NBA since about 1994.
It's not been that
I know
long.
It hasn't been that long. It just feels that way.
It's not even been since 2004.
No.
I think getting multiple pieces back for Ben Simmons could be a good thing for Philadelphia. And let Ben Simmons be some other team's problem to try to figure it. Because I'm not saying it because he's a bad player. What I'm saying is, as you said, he's a specialized player. And he has to have a certain cast around him. We know what direction we need to go in Philadelphia, and it's not Ben Simmons. I believe that.
I don't, because I don't think you're going to get near the value. And I've heard it for days. I've heard 500 trade offers, and I've hated damn near every one of them.
Damn near every one of them.
Damn near everything I've heard that would work out money-wise, cool. Disaster.
Well, let's see here. I'll throw a couple at you. These were ones that we mentioned yesterday. Indiana. You got Malcolm Brogdon and T.J. Warren.
No.
Miami. Victor Oladipo, Tyler Hero.
You want to talk about a problem? Tyler Hero is a problem. Tyler Hero is borderline unplayable in this league at times. Mm-hmm. Yeah, trade one problem for another. I did that. It was called my first divorce.
But there you're getting Oladipo, who is going to be...
Who's a bum and is broken at all times.
Bum.
Victor Oladipo is top 5 most overrated players in the NBA.
Okay, maybe so. You put him on the floor, though, to play the majority of the time. Tyler Hero is like your three-point specialist.
And who plays point guard?
I guess Shake.
Good luck with that.
Or we can find another option. Who is the other one? D'Angelo Russell and Malik Beasley. For the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Did it include
the Philadelphia
it included
76ers.
D'Angelo Russell?
It did.
I'm out.
It did. You thought Denver could come up with a scenario.
It's the only one that makes any sense so far.
Michael Porter,
Will Barton, and JaMychal Green. And I'll be honest with you, I look at it and go, yeah, I'll do that. Jamal Murray can play off the ball. We become the longest team in NBA history, and we become damn near impossible to score on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait. Was she a great big fat person?
I would like that for both sides.
I'm officially of the belief right now that if you're selling Ben Simmons, I'm buying. Mm-hmm. Because I think I can figure it out. I'm not saying he's a good shooter. There have been a lot of guys.
That's why I don't understand why you don't think they're going to get anything. They're what did you say? 10 cents on the dollar.
How are you going to sell it to your fan base? You just watched him in fans' minds single-handedly beat his team. Mm-hmm. It's not true, but it's the narrative.
Right.
How the hell are you going to sell that? You tell me the fan base that you're going to sell that to. I'll wait.
The Sacramento Kings.
Who gives a shit? Do they still play in the NBA?
They do. And they have a really good guard that they could send out. De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah.
Could be packaged up.
God, you ever heard the phrase rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic?
Yeah.
That's what that is. Oh God, you think Ben Simmons is bad now? Put him in Sacramento with Rashawn Holmes and
Buddy Hield,
Halliburton, and woohoo.
If Doc thinks they can fix him, then go for it. Because I agree with him. If he can figure that out, at some point his game will go to another level. I just don't know that he has it in him.
Adam Black said the Warriors trade makes sense with Clay and Steph on the wings. You're right, except for they don't have anything to go get him. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, you're going to have a pick that most likely is very high in this draft, and Wiggins and
James
Wiseman. James Weissman, who does not fit the way basketball's played now, and Andrew Wiggins, who is the biggest miss I have ever had. I'm good.
Bigger than Anthony Bennett? Were you not on the Anthony Bennett train?
I liked Anthony Bennett, but I also hated that draft class. I did say in that draft I would give you my first-round picks for a bag of Planters peanuts. But, yes, I did like Anthony Bennett the best of all the players in that draft.
Okay. I did as well. He got me as well. So you're not alone.
Yeah,
on
he
that
was
one.
Zion Williamson if Zion Williamson had touched that ball from Space Jam that sucked up all his talent.
Right.
Which was to say he was just kind of a pudgy kid that liked to eat a lot.
What is it? Alex Sanders says, hilariously, I would be down with LeBron trading away Kuzma and Caruso. Even though
They
I
would
hate
laugh
LeBron.
at that. Philadelphia would laugh at that until they peed in their pants.
Not a chance.
There is a deal that works with L.A., which it's Schroeder, KCP, and Talon Horton-Tucker. That would work for Ben Simmons.
Can't trade Talon Horton-Tucker. They can't do it. They got to hold on
Yeah,
to
you
it.
can. Always trade that guy. That guy that's untradeable, trade him every time.
Right.
Tyler Hero. Bet
Yeah.
you wish you'd done that.
Yeah.
Tyler, I want you to understand that Tyler Hero and Ben Simmons are what kept James Harden in, or what sent James Harden to Brooklyn. Because that was the two guys Miami and Philadelphia were not willing to come off of. Do you realize how stupid that sounds now? Like, when you say it out loud, they could have had James Harden, but they would rather have Tyler Hero and Ben Simmons.
Well, and then at the break, at the trade deadline, the Lakers were supposedly in the talks with Kyle Lowry, or could have gotten Kyle Lowry, and they were stuck on can't get rid of THT.
I don't think Kyle
And then the
Lowry,
76ers
Kyle Lowry wouldn't have fixed any of the problems that they had.
And then there were rumors with the Sixers that Kyle Lowry could come, but they wouldn't give up. Was it Maxey? It was either Maxey or Quickly. I can't remember which one.
Oh, Quickly plays in New York, so
Or I think it was, so Maxey.
Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah. But they wouldn't trade him.
Who is really, really bad defensively.
But do you not think they could have used Kyle Lowry in this series to be able to beat Atlanta?
I'll be honest with you, I think there are very few places that I thought Kyle Lowry could be the solution. Mm-hmm. Philadelphia's one.
Right. I feel like they mismanaged this thing. And now you're at a point where Embiid and Simmons obviously aren't meshing on the floor together. You got to make a decision. Embiid is the guy. He's your MVP, not Ben Simmons. So trade him, see what you can get out of him, see if you can put the pieces around him. Because, I mean, the windows are always limited in the NBA. And I got a feeling if Doc Rivers doesn't find a way to lift this team, it's just going to continue. The pounding that he's taking from people is going to continue. Josh Smith is not a fan, by the way. If you haven't seen that video.
Josh Smith's an idiot.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Josh Smith was a little high after alcohol. I don't know what.
Here's my question.
And he went on Instagram.
I want to know who wakes up with a microphone and goes, what does Josh Smith think?
Nobody.
I would rather you ask the fucking helmet sitting on this desk what they think than Josh Smith. There is a dog that wanders around the parking lot outside of our studio. I care what that dog thinks more than what Josh Smith thinks. That is a dude that blew up every franchise he ever touched.
Yep.
I'm good.
He had some pointed comments for Doc Rivers and picked up a little publicity for it. So I guess good for him because it got his name mentioned on so many shows to where nobody was talking about Josh Smith before. So that's why.
Well, I mean, at this point, he's probably selling Herbalife, so he was probably.
All right, we'll be with you.
That was a twin hitter because he got a little doughy.
We'll be with you this afternoon on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sports Tank with Jeremy Greene every weekday afternoon from 3 until 5. We'll be with you there and back with you here in the Wicked Weed studio tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Almost forgot, by the way, we're going to do a Monkey Knife Fight play of the night.
I have one of those.
There you go, the Monkey Knife Fight play of the night. Go to monkeyknifefight.com. Enter your information, set yourself up an account, and when you make your initial investment, they will match it up to $50 and also give you a $5 free play. just for using our promo code TANK at monkeyknifefight.com. And that $5 free play you can use on...
I'm playing the more or less 3x multiplier because it's early in the day. Between the Clippers and the Suns, I will take over 32.5 for Paul George because he's going to have to, and over 31.5 for Devin Booker because nobody can guard him.
Feels like a very safe bet.
That will take your $5 buy-in and turn it into a $15 prize.
We'll have more on Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals coming up tonight this afternoon, on ESPN Asheville. Don't forget also, support for the Sportsocracy is brought to you by Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com and use our promo code Sportsocracy to get 20% off of your purchase. And of course, free worldwide shipping. Manscaped, they are the champions of the world in men's below-the-waist grooming. They have the precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. The advanced skin-safe technology that comes with the new Lawnmower 4.0 will save your undercarriage from any of those nagging nicks that can create disasters when it's me time in the bathroom. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. And don't forget this exclusive offer. Use our promo code Sportsocracy at manscaped.com. Get 20% off your purchase and free worldwide shipping. Back here tomorrow morning, right here in the Wicked Weed studio. Don't forget to check out our friends at wickedweedbrewing.com. Wicked Weed Brewing, drink different. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene, and we'll see you next time.